New York City has officially entered what Mayor Zohran Mamdani calls a budget crisis of historic scale. During a press conference inside City Hall, he announced that the executive budget deadline is being pushed back to May 12th because the state budget is still unresolved. The numbers are massive. City officials now estimate a $12 billion deficit across the next 2 fiscal years. Right now, leaders must quickly close a gap of roughly $5.4 to $6 billion. Mamdani says the crisis was built over years, accusing the previous administration of hiding the true costs of social support, rent programs, and housing obligations. He also argues that New York City sends more tax revenue to the state than it receives in return. His plan focuses on raising revenue instead of cutting core services. He wants a 2% income tax increase for residents earning more than $1 million a year. He is also pushing Albany to remove corporate tax advantages that could bring the city another $1 billion. If no agreement is reached, city programs may be delayed, including smaller school class sizes and expanded rental assistance. The next few weeks could shape New York's financial future.
As I have said for the past 3 months, New York City faces a budget crisis of a historic magnitude. We inherited a deficit larger than any since the Great Recession. Years of mismanagement and chronic underbudgeting, alongside a structural imbalance between what New York City sends to the state and what we receive in return, have taken a toll. We cannot close this deficit with savings alone. We need new revenue, and we need a structural reset in our relationship with the state. That is the only way to meet our legal obligation to pass a balanced budget, and to do so without imposing a financial burden onto the backs of working people. I'm glad to partner with Speaker Menon as we call upon Albany and deliver a balanced budget. Together, we are extending the executive budget deadline from this coming Friday until May 12th, because a crisis of this scale cannot be solved without state action. I want to be clear, we are not simply asking others to act. New York City is doing our part. We are committed to governing with the fiscal responsibility this moment demands. Speaker Menon and I have already identified meaningful savings, and we will continue that work carefully, deliberately, and without cutting the services that New Yorkers rely on. But we cannot do it alone.
5 students in Mississippi became heroes after their school bus driver suffered an asthma attack and lost consciousness. As the bus started drifting off the road, one student grabbed the steering wheel while another hit the brakes. Other classmates called 911 and helped the driver use her inhaler. Thanks to their fast teamwork, no one was hurt. The driver later said those students saved lives.
I saw that the bus was veering off to the side, then I grabbed the wheel.
When the bus started rolling forward, it started to gain speed, so whenever I clicked the brakes, it about threw me out the windshield.
I saw her medication in her hand, and I saw her reaching for it.
I can't thank these students enough for saving everybody's life, because it could have turned out so much worse.
Lip-reading experts claim they decoded a private exchange between Donald Trump and King Charles III during the royal welcome ceremony at the White House on April 27, 2026. The most discussed moment came when Trump reportedly spoke about Vladimir Putin. According to the interpretation, he said Putin wants war and could destroy everything. Observers noted that Trump appeared unusually serious while making the remark. King Charles reportedly answered in a calm and diplomatic way, suggesting the matter should be discussed later in a more appropriate setting. That brief response quickly drew attention, with many seeing it as a measured royal reaction to a tense subject. Earlier in the meeting, Trump was also said to mention his mother, Mary Ann MacLeod. He reportedly told the king that she always admired the British royal family and had great respect for Charles himself. Experts say the conversation also touched on climate issues, a long-standing priority for the king, along with the weather in Washington. What looked like a routine ceremonial greeting suddenly became one of the most talked-about political moments of the visit. A Colorado man spent more than 4 years preparing to complete the world's largest commercial puzzle. Lou Salas finally finished the massive set called What a Wonderful World after over 800 hours of work. It contains 60 separate sections with 1,000 pieces each, forming a giant world map packed with landmarks from all 7 continents. For the final build, he created a custom table inside his garage and even used a suspended platform to reach the center. His 8-year-old granddaughter helped along the way. Now he plans to give the finished puzzle away for free.
Section number 17 and found that there was a piece missing, so I didn't sleep that night. One piece kind of ruins the whole thing.
Chanta Davis, a survivor connected to Jeffrey Epstein's circle, has described disturbing conversations she says she overheard during that period. She claims there were discussions about creating an ideal gene pool and perfect children, suggesting a focus on selective reproduction ideas. Davis also recounts waking up in dark, unfamiliar rooms alongside other women. In her account, a female doctor was present during these moments and may have carried out procedures that were never clearly explained to her. These statements are part of broader allegations surrounding Epstein's network, which continues to be examined through survivor testimonies and ongoing public scrutiny. The accounts remain allegations and reflect personal recollections shared by witnesses.
Girls waking up in sort of like a dark room with like a female doctor standing over them, feeling like maybe there is some kind of procedure that had happened that they weren't aware of. And I believe this is in the files. Sure, there's something in there about a baby actually being born and then just disappearing, like Ghislaine taking it. I personally never witnessed anything like that, but I do remember overhearing conversations about trying to create the perfect baby, the perfect gene pool. And I know that there was sort of a hunt, if you will, for the perfect gene pool.
Harvesting of sex organs to allegations of women having forced abortions or forced pregnancies or coerced pregnancies. I think when we think about the stories and the span of stories, it sounds fictional. It sounds like a horror film.